We're getting so close to the pre-order date for the new Xbox consoles. Both the Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X will be available for pre-order on September 22nd at around 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. These consoles are hot and I'm very excited to get one myself. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 different experiences that I've had pre-ordering Xboxes in the past, and I'm going to offer you 3 tips along the way that I think will really help your chances of securing a pre-order come September 22nd. My first experience with an Xbox pre-order was with that of the Xbox 360. The Xbox 360 launched in November of 2005 and was such a big ticket item because it was moving from standard definition gaming to high definition gaming. Add on to this that Xbox Live was maturing as a service, everybody knew that the Xbox 360 was going to be a big deal. My brother and I were unable to secure a pre-order for the Xbox 360. I remember talking to Best Buy and the guy in the line basically saying, "Hey, we're going to get some extra, we don't know how many. If you want to take a gamble, come stand in line with us at midnight." That wasn't good enough for me, so my brother and I did the next best thing. We called places that we wouldn't really have expected to sell the Xbox or have any type of pre-order or midnight launch. We ended up settling on a now defunct retail store called Kmart. Kmart was a retail store stuck in the 80s or the 90s. It was owned by Sears Holdings. Our location happened to have a gaming area, but all the games were old. They weren't even getting new releases, so I was quite shocked to hear that they were actually going to have some consoles available. Now, they weren't doing pre-orders because I don't think their systems could actually maintain that type of thing, but they did say they were getting an undisclosed amount and they would be opening at 6 a.m. that morning. When launch day finally rolled around, me, my brother, and a few of his friends woke up at 3 a.m., headed over to our local Kmart. We were about one of 10 in line. By about 6 a.m., there were 30 people in line. We did get a launch console. There were some people at the end of the line that unfortunately did not, but this is my tip number 1. Call the places that you might not expect to sell the Xbox or have any type of pre-orders available. In our case, it really paid off, so don't count out the little guys. My second Xbox pre-order experience was with the base Xbox One in 2013. In 2013, you could obviously still pre-order things at brick and mortar, but I felt the need to give online a try. I ended up settling with Microsoft.com, and to be honest, the experience was phenomenal. Looking back, I remember I put in my pre-order. I even tweeted the Microsoft Game Store just to ask them if I would receive the console on day 1, and they quickly confirmed that yes, I would. My card was charged the night before, it was overnight aired from California, and I had the console by 2 p.m. the next day. It was a super smooth and great experience. Tip number 2 here is pretty quick, but it's obvious. Don't count out the Microsoft Store. They're likely to get the most number of pre-orders available, so if you can't find anything or if you're not sure where to go, definitely give Microsoft.com a chance. My third and final Xbox pre-order experience was with the Xbox One X in 2017. I fondly remember being at a baseball game, watching my phone, and my girlfriend was like, "What are you doing on your phone?" I was like, "Babe, I'm waiting for the Xbox pre-orders to come out." Luckily enough, the pre-orders did come out before the end of the game, so I did get to watch some of the baseball game. Unfortunately, this was the most rocky Xbox pre-order that I've had to date. What made the Xbox One X launch so rocky was with 3 days left until launch, Amazon decided to change my shipping speed to 3 to 5 days. Now, I was super bummed because I had taken the day off of work, so I quickly called Amazon. Now, they offered me $10 in credit, and I was like, "I don't want your credit. I would like to get my Xbox." I was super excited because this was the Xbox Scorpio edition. Now, I ended up speaking to a supervisor who spoke candidly. He did say that they had too many input into the system and that I should get it within 3 to 5 days, but that he couldn't guarantee it was a Scorpio edition. I was super upset because I asked him, I was like, "You could have told me this months back and I could have switched to where I was pre-ordering," and he understood. What he could do was basically manually override the system to switch me back to 1-day shipping, which he did. He did say, though, that it was unlikely for me to receive the console. I'll get it at some time in a future date, and that it might not be a Scorpio Day 1 edition. This story ultimately does have a happy ending. I was sitting at home, and interestingly enough, my tracking information wasn't updating. I heard a knock at the door, and it was my Xbox One X Scorpio edition. Tip number 3 is just to be wary of some of these online retailers. Oftentimes, it will take in more pre-orders than it can actually fulfill, and it comes at the expense of you, the customer. In summary, you want to make sure you're using all the resources that are available to you. A. Give calls to places that you wouldn't expect to carry the Xbox or have any pre-orders available. B. Don't count out the Microsoft.com store. In all likelihood, they're probably going to have more pre-orders than anybody else, so give them a chance. And C. be wary of online retailers. If you need to, it might be a good idea to have 2 pre-orders just in case one falls through. I want to thank everyone who has made it up until this point. If you find this list useful or you have a tip to add, we would sure love to hear it below. As I am a new channel, a like would go a long way, and a subscribe if you enjoyed this content. As always, thank you for tuning in and have a great day.